Thanks again to DVCant for that insightful demo about the experimentation suite, which brings us to this great fireside. I'm super excited for this. I'm your host, Daniele Nunzio. I'm the head of sales for Americas at CleverTap. My guest and his story are definitely a great fit for this CleverTap Quarterly, where the focus is cementing relationship. And this is where my guest excels because this app, Press Sports app, is a platform where athletes, coach, and fan can capture, share, and promote athletic achievements, get discovered or discover the next LeBron James, or for a fan like me of soccer, the next Maradona. Think Instagram for sport with the purpose of LinkedIn for athletes and coaches. This is the brainchild of my guest, who, in addition to being the co-founder and the head of customer marketing and analytics of Press Sports app, is also recognized for his business abilities as one of the Forbes 30 under 30. Super excited to introduce to you Drew Williams. Welcome, Drew.
Hey, Daniele, thank you so much for having me on.
Let's jump straight in on one of the great achievements of your 2020 year, for sure, which is the fundraising, a successful $1.5 million. Last time I checked your app, 250,000 registered users, more than 600,000 posts from 70 countries. Can you tell us more about what you will do with this 1.5 million and how you will increase these numbers?
Definitely. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and just give an intro of the company. I'm the co-founder of Press Sports app. Me and my other co-founder, Conrad Cornell, who is the CEO of our company, we thought of this idea right outside of college. We realized growing up as avid, athletes, loved playing all different kinds of sports. We looked back at our careers, and there wasn't a place where we had all of our achievements, all of our highlights, everything regarding our sports careers on one platform. And so we thought, hey, why don't we give it a shot, and built this sports social media app back in 2018. And like you said, we were lucky enough to get a great investment from General Catalyst, who's a great VC for us. And we're really looking forward to what we can do. Right now, we're really focusing on the product, and we're looking forward to talking about this customer marketing and retention.
Amazing. Thank you for that. So we talked about a little bit, how this all started. Obviously, you're talking about your experience as an athlete and these needs that you find, to publish your own achievement to get discovered. So can you walk us through a little bit on the user experience on your app?
Right now, our main power users, our main demographic is middle school and high school athletes. If you're a middle school or high school athlete, you join our app, you create a profile, you have a primary sport that you play. And basically, you fill out a profile that consists of all of your highlights, achievements. You're building a fan base of people that want to keep up with what you're doing in your athletic career. And you get on, you connect with other athletes on the app, other coaches, other just fans on the app. It's a great way for kind of the sports world to come together on one platform and really connect.
Obviously, everything starts, as you say, from like an onboarding process, right? It's hard to onboard new people in the app, to make it flawless, to make it enjoyable. How do you approach the onboarding process?
Right. So as you stated in the intro, I do a lot of customer marketing, but also data analytics. And at the end of the day, the data speaks for itself. And so, as we've continued to grow and take a look at the data, you kind of understand what those sticky users are doing and what they love about the app, and what, actions they're doing in the app that's leading them to enjoy the experience even more. And so we looked into these users. We figured out when you build more community inside the app and connect users with people that they know, they tend to have a better experience on the app. And so that's what we've noticed. And so the way that we can connect users is through them giving us their school and their club team. And because we know that they know people at their school, and then if they give us their class year as well, we know people in their grade at their school. And so they're obviously more likely to know each other then. And so those are the two big things we really try to get in the onboarding process is their school, their class of, and obviously their sport and profile type. And the thing about knowing this is that if we connect them with people that they know, they're also more likely to post. Because if you think about it, you don't want to post out to just a bunch of random people that you don't know.
Obviously, what you're sharing here, it's content is it's extremely important for your app. So how getting these athletes to post their achievements and their contents, right? And I've seen in the app, I played a little bit. I played soccer for a long time, and obviously as a good Italian, and I would have loved to put my achievement out there as a soccer player, and
Right.
definitely I can see myself doing it. And I loved one of the feature called the Hype Zone, right? So these feeds that help athletes and coaches to find the right content. Um, can you unpack these features a little bit more for us?
Yeah, first off, I wish I could have seen your content, Daniele, your soccer highlights. I'm sure you're, man, probably multiple hat tricks per season. But yeah, so the hype zone, it's kind of what it sounds like. It's where all the hype goes. It's where the best content flows right now. So you have a primary sport, so that's a sport you play, but we also offer interests. And so based on your interests, we're going to feed you the content that we know you're interested in. So it's not just, baseball, soccer, football, basketball. It's also things like extreme sports, skateboarding, snowboarding, um, trick shots. There's everything. And so as you continue to use the app, we kind of can begin to gauge, what the user is more interested in, and feed that in the hype zone. And so it's not just, obviously a place you're sharing highlights to your fans, but, if you have a really good highlight and it gets some really good traction, you can, quote unquote, go viral in the hype zone. And it's just the best content that's going viral, and the users really enjoy it. We're continuing to enhance it, and yeah, that's.
Let's talk about like the problems, right? When, for example, there are drop-offs, right? You were like sharing, I have my feed, I'm watching content, then I drop off. So how do you approach analyze drop-offs?
Right. So, in anything that you ever do, you have to learn from the failures and all that. And in a way, you consider a drop off, it's a failure. Either the user didn't have a great experience with the app or it just wasn't a good fit. And so that's something you have to look at on your growth side of things is if you're bringing in the wrong user. One thing that, Conrad and I, and even Brandon Stewart, who does a lot of the customer marketing stuff with me, we've noticed that, users that add school and class and end up posting tend to stick. And so learning from those users, helps a lot, but it's also finding those users that aren't doing those actions and figuring out, well, why is that? And so the big thing is, testing is always big. Keep testing things, in CleverTap, they do journeys and campaigns. You can see all the different metrics based on different things you try. And so, if you get a new user and you notice the day one retention's a little lower based on something you changed, you got to go in and look at, why do those users drop off? And at the end of the day, that first session that a user has is the most crucial session because, a lot of people don't have time. All these apps, we're competing with, we're trying to win over their time. And so, they're going to give us one shot. And so us making that one shot as great of an experience as possible is crucial. And learning from the drop-offs of those people that, aren't enjoying those experiences, you got to learn from them and you got to move forward and take it from there. That's really the simple way to put it. It's nothing too complex. They didn't enjoy the product and you have to learn from it.
Obviously, I agree 100%. You talk about like analysis and metrics, right? So what are the metrics that you watch on a daily basis? What instead for you as the creator of the app, the first thing you monitor when you wake up?
Right. So, retention is king, in my opinion. If you're getting 1 million users and no one's retaining, it doesn't mean a thing. I'd rather have 100,000 users where 90% of them are retaining. With retention, the big ones, day one retention, are they coming back the next day? That's a key indicator of, how was their first session that first day. Week one is usually a byproduct of that day one retention. If they come back usually on day two, they're, pretty likely they'll come back the second week because they're engaged in the product, and obviously 1 month retention. There's metrics inside of metrics. And when I say that, I mean, when you talk about DAU, daily active users, weekly active users, that's the big retention number, day one retention, week one retention. But there's metrics inside those metrics that lead to those numbers getting higher. And so things like how many users are posting each month, things like how many of the new users are adding their school and class. One thing that our COO, Brandon Stewart, has really nailed into Conrad and I's head is that, retention and product is the king and what's going to really get us to that next level, and figuring out those actions that the users are taking in their first few sessions is what's really going to lead them to retain. Growth right now is not our biggest focus. Remarkably, we've had higher growth numbers because we've been focusing on the product. And so we believe, it's word of mouth, and you can never force word of mouth. And, the only thing you can do is, like I've said, give them the best experience as you can in their product, and let the word of mouth do the work for you.
Can you tell me, if any, a small change that you made in 2021 that made an impact on the retention?
Obviously, you look into the data, like I've said, you just look into the data, you're figuring out what are those users doing that are sticking around. The biggest adjustment we've made, I would say, is really figuring out who are those power users. We call them power users. And the reason for that is because we know that they drive the app, they drive the community. They are the ones that are providing content. They're the ones engaging in content. They're the ones that are connecting with other people inside the platform. And so, in the onboarding process, using CleverTap, is really big for us. When they enter the app, based on what they do, we provide them different notifications and emails that we know we need to give them to help them guide them in the right direction. That's something that CleverTap's really helped us with since we started in October. I believe, I don't know if you stated, but the conversions have been much higher on each of those metrics I've stated, in large part due to CleverTap. Just a lot of testing and, doing that stuff and just figuring out what works. But for the most part, it's notifications, emails, and all that in the onboarding process. And then, as they continue to use the app, you provide them, further guidance as to, how do you improve your profile? How do you, grow your fan base? How do you, connect with the other people you want to connect with, that kind of thing. And so that's been, the big focus, and notifications and email would be, I guess, the two big channels.
Is there a real best channel, or do you think the strategy of having multi-channel, multi-touch journey within a retention cloud like CleverTap is the magic formula? And do we agree with that?
Yeah, so regarding the best channel, I think the best channel, you can say channels like email notification, but I truly believe the network and the product is the best channel. If you can get them on the app, you'll be able to guide them a lot clearer inside the product than outside. And so, you can use those other channels, emails, notifications, to kind of nudge them to get back in. But, when they're in the product, that's where it really counts. At the end of the day, getting them inside the app and getting them to use, the channels inside our app to communicate with us is the big thing.
Amazing. What you are excited the most regarding, Press Sports app and your personal achievements? What do you see?
First thing I hope is we can get this COVID dilemma figured out, because I think we all hope we can get outdoors a little more and get closer together and get everything back to normal. But in regards to Press Sports, I would say obviously we're working on the product. We're mastering the product. We're getting the right things in order, and getting that together, giving the user the best experience possible. But The opportunity, and this has been for years now, is just the fact that, the amount of resources out there, social media, email, notifications, CleverTap, the amount of resources you have to be able to connect and learn from your users and understanding the world and how it's working is remarkable, and it's only getting better. And so that's really what I'm looking forward to is there's always something new that you can learn from, and continue to master our product by learning through our customers and users, and just really, becoming that sports platform where people are, you know, just pumped to get on and connect through the sports world, whether it's a fan, athlete, or coach, and just continue to give the user, the best experience possible. That's just always, Conrad and I's goal, and the rest of the company. We're just trying to, master this product and give them something that we wish we had back when we were growing up.
Do you have like a dream coach or athlete that you would love to see on Press Sports app?
Dream coach or athlete? So do you mean, I guess, a
Some
professional athlete or
a
former
professional athlete
professional
or like a
athlete?
team, or that you
Well,
say yes,
yeah.
got it.
As you can see, I'm a big Atlanta fan. So, the Braves, I'm a big baseball guy as well as my co-founder. And, we were big baseball guys growing up. So, I mean, shoot, any Braves player, any old Braves player, Chipper Jones, any current player, Dansby, Austin Riley, Acuna, Albies, all those guys. But, we're not there yet. We're trying to grow, the high school, middle school, college athlete, you know, realm first. And then, yeah, hopefully we can get to those guys in 2022. Definitely any Atlanta team, Ole Miss. I went to Ole Miss, University of Mississippi. So, shoot, if I get Matt Corral on too, that'd be pretty good too. So, anything involving, I'd say, Atlanta and Ole Miss would be the big ones for me.
That's great. And do you have currently one athlete or coach or team that you were surprised to see in the app so early that made you happy?
Yeah. Drew Jones, big one. He's Andrew Jones' son. Andrew Jones was a former Atlanta Brave. He's Drew's a great user on the app. He's been on since the beginning. He's been really cool in helping us throughout our journey. We got a lot of the top baseball players in the country. Termar Johnson's a really good one. Isaac Nunez, he's in college right now. He's a big user on our app. He's been with us from the beginning. A lot of good football players. And what's been awesome too is that we've, grown internationally in a way. We've a lot of Canadians on the app, a lot of people over in Europe as well, which has been really cool. But overall, I'm glad for all the users that are on the app. They're all unique in their own way, and they all bring value in their own way.
Great. So I have last question before we wrap this up.
Already? Dang, man.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You want to get over it?
No. I was saying it's too soon. You got so much more to talk about, Daniele.
Yep.
No, it's all right.
It's
okay.
definitely great chat. You are like a 30 under 30, very successful app. If you have to share your golden rule for retention,
I would say the golden rule is you got to know who are your power users, who are your sticky users, because they're the nucleus of everything in your community. And when you figure out those users that tend to stick around and figure out, learn from them and really go tunnel vision on those users, I would say, that's when you're going to be in a good spot, because one, you're going to attract the right users, but two, you can always fall back on those users. They're always going to be there for you to support the community, support the company, support the brand. And, at the end of the day, those are the users that are going to really drive the entire community.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, Drew. We learned a lot, even if it was short, and we learned how marketers can leverage data, can leverage retention tactics and campaigning and identifying power user in order to create a successful app. Thank you again. Now stay tuned to learn about enhancing engagement and tackling the challenge that email marketers face. Over to you, Arsh.